you go. Oh, boy. Here we go. All right, Lori. Let's get people in. Mitch.
Are you gonna keep a list of who's?
Oh, yeah.
Here's the question too. Oh, okay. Thanks. I think everyone's admitted, right?
Hi, Bridget.
Hey, everybody.
Good, that works.
Do you want me to call the meeting to order?
Yes.
Okay, call the meeting to order at 9:41 a.m. Has everyone reviewed the minutes from January?
Yes.
Does someone want to?
I can actually accept the minutes as read.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Has everyone had a chance to review the cannabis ordinance proposals? I know Tom sent us two this morning and Maureen included one with the agenda.
Well, the ones that Tom sent us this morning came back from Attorney Ryback, right?
Great. I was wondering about that. It didn't say specifically that
Yeah.
those were approved.
And the one that I had attached to the minutes was given to me by Vinnie Aiello.
Right, and those were Bethlehem's and they look almost identical, so.
Okay, the one he gave me, yeah, was the land use.
Right,
Right. And I didn't have a
And it's-
chance to go over the one that Tom, so I don't know if is it the same? I don't know.
well, is that
I
Tom
think
I
it's
see
fine,
there,
too.
sitting there?
Yeah.
Yep.
So Tom, the ordinance prohibiting use of cannabis on town property, hadn't we already discussed that and that was voted on last year in
No,
November?
no.
No, that was,
This
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
question on the ballot was the retail sale, I believe.
Yeah, the retail sale was on the ballot.
Okay,
Not the dispensing. Oh, well, the
Not-
dispensing, but not the cultivating and all.
okay. Well, on the one that's entitled ordinance prohibiting cannabis establishments as land use, there's.
That came from Vinnie.
No, this is the one that Tom sent us this morning.
Maybe they're the same document.
Oh, they could be.
They're
Like I
very
said,
similar, except it
Okay.
says Town of Morris. Question, do you need to specifically exempt cultivating for personal use?
No. No, you don't have to.
Well, no, what I'm saying is the state law allows you to cultivate for personal use up to 12 plants per household.
Would state law supersede
Preempts.
anything? Yeah.
Right,
Well,
town
and
ordinance.
if, did Mike Ryback approve these, Tom? Or was it
These are
Steve
just
Byrne?
suggested. These are not, these are for you to look at and talk about and
Okay.
go through.
Now, the one that you sent us this morning, or, oh, okay. So that was not, okay.
I also,
So-
I believe I sent you the one about wildlife.
yeah.
feeding.
We're getting to that one too.
Yep.
Yeah.
We want to do that one first?
Because I don't know what's on the agenda here. but-
Well, it's old, it
Cannabis.
would go under old business.
Oh, okay.
I like to go in order. So the new business, does everyone needs, I know I'd like to go through it in more detail and read it. And I think we would like input from all the members. What does anyone else think?
Yeah, like I said, I didn't have a chance to go over it.
Ben, do you have an opinion?
Scanning through it right now. We should have time to like read through this.
So maybe we deal with it at the March meeting?
Doesn't matter to me.
Mhm.
Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, so I move that we table it for now and give everybody a chance to review it and be prepared to discuss it at the March meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Um, Old business, let's do the baiting of wildlife first. Because as I understand
I
it,
didn't-
Tom,
I did it, Bridget, that's not on the agenda.
no, but it was old business that we had approved it for inclusion in the ordinance book last meeting, Maureen.
Yeah. That
And my
came-
understanding is that Tom sent it to us this morning because our town attorney had reviewed it and saw some issues with it. Is that correct, Tom?
Correct, yeah. It kind of pretty much prohibited people from putting up bird feeders, which a lot of people would object to, I imagine. So he wanted to make sure that people could still put up their bird feeders, and I think there are certain months listed in it.
Yeah.
It does, December to April, I believe.
Yeah, which probably aligns
March
with
30.
recommended from DEP.
And
I think-
again, this was Mike Ryback.
Yeah, I think Mike's intent is to be able to have this ordinance go through DEP without any issues. And I
Right.
already had received one call from the Audubon Society about it, and they were concerned that people would not be able to feed their birds.
So let me ask Lori, at the last meeting, we talked about the book. Has it already gone to the publisher?
That was with last year's things. So
Yeah,
now it will go another round this year.
no, because it hasn't even gone to the, right, town meeting.
So what does everyone think we should do with this updated one?
I'd like to review it
Okay,
Yeah, I think we review it and
and then come
This-
back.
go from there.
discuss it at the March meeting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I move that we table it and discuss it at the March meeting.
When is the,
I'll second
you
it.
don't even know when the next town meeting's gonna
Not
be,
yet.
right? So I mean, I don't think there's any urgency that we have to get it done today.
No, and
Right, and when's our March meeting, Maureen?
March 5th
So that's only a couple weeks away.
at 9:30 again, right?
Deep has to approve our final language. So there's a whole nother cycle after that.
Yeah,
It may be quick since they've been doing this, and this is probably based on another town's ordinance.
Yeah, I think,
They may go through quickly.
I don't think it's particularly contentious, but by then they might have their own deep state level regulation.
I spoke to someone in DEEP. The head attorney up there, I worked for her before. So she sent me some additional information after we had, submitted this. So I will get it together and pass it out and forward it on to everyone.
So, but
That would be great, Maureen.
they comment that stuff like this is a lot, they're starting to see a volume of these coming in from the different towns.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, they're getting questions all over,
Yeah.
yeah.
That might-
Because my
Well-
understanding is that some people are feeding bears, deer, et cetera, and it's causing traffic issues.
And I talked to Jamie also up at White Memorial. And he said they've been getting a lot of calls too. And now there's problems with bobcats.
Yeah,
So-
we've seen the bobcats.
We live in the woods.
We live in the country,
That is what. it
No,
is.
I know, but people are trying to bait them in order to
Yes,
take
yes.
Instagram photos or Facebook photos.
I don't know if that's fair to say, but maybe.
Yeah, it is because,
Really?
yeah,
yeah,
it has been an
I
issue
just
out
don't
of
see
town.
the data supporting this. I'm fine with this language. I have nothing against it, but like,
well, there was that big problem with that guy in,
Was it Park Hampstead?
where was he?
Was
Mark
that,
Hampstead.
Mark Amstead.
yeah, and that's why Don Stein
And,
pushed it.
and
'cause
there's,
a
and there was,
specific issue.
yeah, I understand there was more to it and there's more people that have fallen into that same pattern. So.
Okay. If it's a trend, then I'm fine.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Could be a very deadly one, so.
They're in my drive.
More
they're in
horses
my
get
yard
hit
all the
more.
time, and I'd rather they got
Than anything
the
else.
house, not real far, but
Well, we don't have to spend a lot of time
No,
chatting about this.
Exactly.
so we'll table this to March.
Someone else.
Yes, please.
Oh, you gotta hit it.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
That brings us to the proposed noise ordinance. Now, my understanding, Lori emailed us some more letters that were
Yeah.
received. Maureen, do you want to say on the record who they've been received from and the dates, so
Sure.
we have a record?
Yeah.
Do not read them in. They're going
No.
to become part of the minutes.
I think there were only 3.
Well, Lori included 6 on the email, but
Yeah,
some of
I
them we had
know.
already.
Those were already,
Bridget, what's your take on that? A lot of these coming in are from an anonymous email. Because that doesn't. sit
None of
well
these
with me.
are anonymous, so I'm not concerned
There-
at this
There's
point.
there's a CC, if you can explain to me who is the Morris United at Gmail?
I have no clue,
Does that
but the
trouble you?
people who emails we're going to talk about today have names attached to them.
Maybe they can disclose who that anonymous email is for transparency purposes, because that doesn't sit well with me, especially as the person being attacked.
Well, I think that that's something we need to get information on from Mike Ryback. There's freedom of speech and
I'm not
it's
denying
easy.
it. I'm not denying the fact that there's people's names associated. I'm concerned with the fact that there's an anonymous email that seems to be linking all these people together.
Sure, just like any anonymous group that's been on Facebook or other social media sources that say that we're meeting on such and such day and time, please send letters to the committee. I don't have any problem with it right now. I understand you feel attacked, Ben, but don't feel attacked because
Well, I
We're
think
so-
the point is, the
Feelings
letter
aside.
should be sent to the committee by the people.
I agree. I
Rather
don't
than being
disagree,
filtered
but
through a anonymous source.
well, I'm happy getting it from any source we can get so that we can
Well, I'm not happy with that.
review that.
The-
Can I
the-
finish? So that we can review them and understand where they're coming from.
I understand where they're coming from. These are personal attacks that are organized by an organization that appears to be anonymously attacking me continuously. No, let me finish.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to take the bullying. I'm not going to sit here and let this commission enable the bullying. And I'm going to
I'm
stand up.
not
for myself.
enabling bullying.
Well,
I think
I'm
any
allowing
future
them-
letters should come directly from the people to the committee.
okay, can I ask, what, are you talking about a particular letter that we have, Ben?
man,
Those, the last ones are the ones that were new. No, before that
oh, I'm sorry.
are the older ones.
Morris United for Peace at gmail.com.
Just put a,
Catherine Curtin.
well, that's, she's a member of, so.
A member of what? A Nazi organization? Is it anti-Semitic? Is it political based? If it's Facebook, that's Facebook. That's a whole different world. We're not talking about that. We're talking about real life.
I think we already accepted her letter the last time.
Well, my concern remains. What's going on here? Things are opening up. Yeah. hold on.
Okay.
There you go.
oh, I gotta stop.
So you
reading
want to
this.
know everyone that's involved in this organization,
Well,
is that
if
right?
there's an anonymous.
But this is not, but, okay, but see, I'm not getting something here. This came from Morris residents for peace to
Yes,
Lori
yes,
Weiner, I see.
yes,
But it was signed by Curtin.
yes.
So is
Weird,
it
right?
anonymous?
Well,
I don't see it being.
let's say I am Morris United from Peace.
Mhm, okay, and you send in one from Morris United from Peace with
Under,
no name
under
at the
curtain
bottom,
and everything else.
then
What if it's me? That's weird. That's
Well,
that doesn't
my
sound quite
point.
right.
You're questioning Curtin being an anonymous person?
If there's an email that comes into this group and it's received directly, I don't see any issue with that.
Yeah.
The second there's an anonymous, spy or person, or if there's some secondary like reason that this is happening, because this is an attack, I clearly view this as an attack. Let me be clear. Then it's not okay. And I'm just highlighting that. We can do whatever, you can make a motion to accept these or whatever, but protocol process, Facebook is different than real life.
I understand that, Ben, but there are groups online that are,
I don't care about online,
Right.
can I finish, please?
but
Let me finish.
Go for it.
There are groups online that are saying, send your letters to the Morris Ordinance Committee.
And they're not. They're sending to this group that's interfering with that language and then
Well,
attacking me. What if that group is like, I don't know, an undertone?
Maureen, I'm going to make a suggestion. You
yes.
write to the 3 people, or how many people we got on this list that were from the anonymous group, and tell them we have a concern that they may have been solicited inappropriately. And we want to ensure that it truly is from these people. And if so, would they please write to the ordinance committee directly from their own personal email? Would that,
That makes,
That's fine. And
Should be.
I think that's the way it should be.
I'll second that if that's a motion, but
it is a motion.
okay,
How do they contact the ordinance committee?
through the town.
They've been going through
For
me.
you? Okay.
But just let me be clear, I will defend myself because I am personally being attacked right now and I'm not going to stand for it.
Well,
And
even uses-
It's going across different boards, different organizations. This one's no
I
exempt
understand.
and I'm
I
standing up.
understand. We've
So
all
please-
felt attacked by things that are said on social media. I get it.
Social media is not real life. It happens, but it's not
It happens, but
It's not the bounds of this meeting.
no, it's not. But what
Let's keep
I
let's
can
keep it-
understand.
let's
It
keep rise above that.
happens, people read it and they react.
Yes,
to it.
let's rise above that.
I feel bad. I mean, you shouldn't be attacked personally. I mean, you really shouldn't,
It's been going on for 2 years now.
I know, but
Yeah, it's not.
I'm not.
and I don't mean this as an insult or, what, you gotta get more thick skin because this is not an easy committee and this is
Well,
not an easy
I'm willing
problem,
to push back. I'm willing to push back
yeah.
and.
And,
All right, so
That's your.
I'm human.
Exactly.
Okay.
did we pass all in
Motion.
favor of that motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, so Maureen, you'll contact them and say we
Yeah, I
need to
will. I'll write
ensure.
a letter and then I'll draft it. I'll run it through you and then I'll publish it.
How about, I have another motion that we only consider and accept as part of the record emails from individual sources so that we can verify they are who they are.
Thank you.
Okay, motion.
Somebody needs to second.
I'll second that motion.
Oh, I would have seconded. I didn't even think. I was just excited.
All in favor?
Wait a minute, I gotta get it. Who's seconding it?
I'll second
Yeah,
it.
I'm gonna give it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Now just to update the committee, I was in touch with David Wigg and he would like to do a joint meeting with us, with the public, at a workshop to be held on a Saturday. But, and Maureen, I couldn't print off David's email. Oh, I do have it. They want to plan this meeting as a team. They would want a preliminary meeting to plan the Saturday meeting. He is going to discuss the logistics with the board on February 16th and determine who can be available for a meeting that is workable for the ordinance committee working with us. So do we want to have a subcommittee to work with the P and Z, or shall it just be us and whoever they designate from P and Z?
All right, I think it should just be us.
We're not a very big group.
No.
Right,
We're not a
That's
very
fine.
big.
We're not big enough to be sub.
No, yeah.
We are the subcommittee.
It's not like- we could have a subcommittee of 5.
well, at one point he suggested, doing a night meeting And I said, I'm okay with doing a night meeting as long as it's over by 8:30 because I turn into a pumpkin at 8:30. I'll do 5 o'clock in the morning.
I think that's smart that you hedged it to say, we have to be concise in our discussion. So we're on.
Yeah,
point.
I think it should always do that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Took that to back
Well,
to
it's just for planning
Yeah.
the big workshop. And at that workshop, we're going to allow public comment. So.
I think we should limit it.
No, we can.
Well,
I mean, like
Workshop.
time wise.
That'll work. Oh, what do you mean?
Well, public comment.
Well, could we maybe flip it around and maybe do public comment first? So we hear what people are saying and then have a discussion
No.
based on that, or?
Because P and Z has had public hearings with more regularity than we have,
Yeah,
I would
let's-
suggest we work together with it. Why don't we kind of float ideas? I know we can't do it by email because then it's considered an illegal meeting, but we all might want to jot down ideas for our planning meeting with P and Z.
Yeah, maybe we should be a subcommittee to the P and Z meeting,
Probably.
You know,
Might be smart.
because they're much
there we go.
larger and they kind of have more clout than we do, right?
Right, well, they want to hear from us
That's funny.
in the planning
Have a good meeting.
stage.
Is there a way to solicit feedback from the town through like a poll or survey so that, we have data to like review and discuss and, stay on point?
Well, I think, Ben, at this point, we're just looking that if we enact a noise ordinance on our side, it's in, it complements P and Z and we're not doing anything in derogation of one of their regulations.
Oh,
So we
absolutely.
want consistent and complementary regulations. And to be honest, they jumped at the chance to do a joint meeting. So I don't think, I don't think it's necessary to take a poll because don't forget, once the proposals are floated, we have to have a town meeting on that anyway.
Exactly. Yep.
And I think we should, yeah. Right. I think we
And, you
should
know-
go under planning and zoning.
Right,
Let them take the lead.
I don't disagree. But the goal is to make sure we have parallel regulations and ordinances that support the goal of P and Z.
I'll make a motion that we meet with P and Z
I'll second it.
to,
Oh, sorry, thought you were done. I'm just so eager.
The pre-planning meeting, right?
right. To talk about forming the, or establishing the workshop and what, input we may have at the time.
Lori, you want to second that?
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I had suggested to David that the workshop be on a Saturday because that way we get more involvement by everybody that doesn't have a work commitment.
No, but what about the pre-meeting?
Well, that's the opposite schedule I have.
Huh?
In terms of, if the intent is for work commitments, I'm busiest on the weekends.
Well, I was thinking we'd start at 8:30 or 9 a.m. So-
Let's do this so that I've found that P and Z meetings can run unacceptably long.
Yes,
I think that's fair to say. Why don't we, if we do that, we say something where it's from like 8 to 11, or we have to create a termination
Yeah.
of
I
that
agree
meeting.
with that.
Absolutely. And the planning meeting, I'm going to ask that we be put first on their agenda at
Perfect.
whatever meeting
Yeah.
they want to talk about planning, because I'm not sitting around till 11 o'clock.
No.
No, that's
No.
not fair to anybody.
but I
Even though-
mean, maybe this meeting that we're planning with them, it could be just concise.
The pre-planning one should be
Yeah,
30
the
minutes.
pre-plan I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah, this is what I'm talking
Okay.
about now, right?
But as a strategy, maybe pre-planning's like 30, and then we'll have maybe, if we have to do more in one session, we have to do more in one
So
session.
you're gonna take care of
Yeah.
that, Bridget?
Can't sit there for 4 hours.
Yeah, David said he was going to talk to
Absolutely.
his group on the 16th about the logistics.
Okay,
So I think let them, since they're the primary source.
okay.
Does everyone agree with my philosophy?
I do.
Yep.
Yep.
Great.
Well, I get, okay, are we done with the planning and zoning?
And that's the proposed noise ordinance moving forward. It's a slow process, but again, we want to make sure we do it right. We're complete. We take every nuance into consideration. And because eventually it has to be looked at by our town council and voted on at a meeting. We're not going to rush this through.
I'd like to go back to these letters that were sent in. We never, I mean, should I read into the minutes who submitted them, or are we not going to do that?
Maureen, you were going to contact the people who wrote them directly and
Yeah,
ask them to confirm or to resend the email from their own personal email.
okay. So resend these letters. Okay, we won't read them into the minutes then. No, to the, yeah. Okay.
Any other discussion on the noise ordinance and meeting with P and Z?
No, not for me.
Ben?
No, I think we have a plan.
Great. Lori?
Good. I agree.
So now we're at public comment. And so if anyone that's here wants to make a civil comment, I see there's a hand up by Lori.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Ben,
So Ben, I think, my letter to the committee back in November was very clear, and I think people of this community have a right to speak if they feel there is a conflict of interest. That being said, I want to know why my letter to this committee that I emailed directly from me with my concerns about Eileen Narbutis, AKA Rachel Fields, and Tom Wyke is not being submitted on the record. This is the third time I've sent it.
This was,
I'm
That's it.
feeling personally attacked.
that's that one, because she said it didn't get included. I did not.
This nonsense about something that I submitted as a draft was clearly, deliberately, and intentionally mocked and misled this community. And I'm not going to tolerate that. So you want to be a bully? I'm going to be a bully too.
Maureen, was that one part of the minutes at any point?
that we weren't going to,
Lori's?
yeah, not at the minutes, no. I did not post that because it was a Facebook, we talked about that. It was a
Well-
Facebook post.
So you tell me the first selectman can behave like that, and you want me to believe that this could be a committee that's fair? Come on.
I don't have my whole file here, Maureen. Maybe you can clarify. Was it an email to the committee that included Facebook posts?
Yes. There was a
I have
letter
no
from
problem.
Lauren.
I have no problem with including it, and then we can all decide down the road the weight that it has on our deliberations.
Okay, I will post it with our next minutes.
Well, just include it as part of the minutes as being from Lori.
Okay, today?
Yep.
Okay,
And Lori, I got your email this morning, and I just wanted to say that that part of the email was not left out on purpose. It was definitely the papers. I had so many things that I was putting into the packet that's why
I
it was.
understand, Lori. That's no problem. I get it. People are busy.
Yeah.
Thank you for your attention to it. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right. Is there any other public comment?
Yes.
I don't,
Hello,
any,
can you hear me?
yeah. Yes, we can.
I have a question on the marijuana, the
Uh-huh.
cultivation You're gonna meet again on March 5th?
Yes.
Review, Ryback's, recommendations?
Yes.
Okay, I have a question for Lori. How many signatures do I need for a town meeting?
Oh, I think it's 20, but I would have to get back to you to be sure.
And I need 200 signatures for a referendum?
Yes.
All right, so hopefully by March 5th, your committee will come up with some recommendations for a town meeting. Because as you're aware of, applications are being submitted right now as we speak. And our surrounding towns have already voted on not to have this in our town. And I'm afraid that if we keep dragging along this question, that we may end up with something in Morris that we're going to regret. So hopefully on March 5th, we'll have enough information where we can hold a town meeting to resolve this issue. Thank you
Well,
very much.
Thank you, Vinnie. And I suggest that the members be prepared to vote on those proposed ordinances on March 5th.
Okay.
All right. Because we don't want someone being grandfathered in if that's against what people want in our town.
Just one more thing, if you remember back in November when we had that question on the ballot, it was
Right.
obvious that the Morris residents do not want this in our town. So just keep
Right.
that in consideration.
Can we read that just so people know what we're talking about? Because I feel like there's a lot of
Oh, the question?
yeah.
I'm gonna read the question so that can be more understood. This is what was on the ballot in November. It was a yes or no question. It's shall the sale of recreational marijuana be allowed in the town of Morris?
And so if we're talking, and I like doing this and we don't do this enough, but what I like to do is define the problem and then talk about the language that's going to address the problem. And my understanding from myself and the community is that we didn't want to be like a magnet for attracting people to come to the area
Right,
to do
so,
this.
right, we don't want it sold in town,
Correct.
period.
So it's related to sales. We should be clear about that. Because when I was skimming through what Ryback wrote included that, but also all sorts of other things. So we should just be,
Cultivation.
yeah, and what I plan to do for the next, we should have data. We should be thinking about like what we're talking about, because I feel like,
That's,
because I don't fully understand. We should understand what each one of these line items actually means. Because I was on a Department of Ag meeting the other day and they're saying like hemp, like is that
yeah,
inclusive or not inclusive? So we just need to, again, be consistent, understand what we're talking about, and then regulate
oh,
around.
yeah, because
But we have to define the problem first,
you don't want to go back, have to go backwards.
or just be
Fix
something that's in
something
conflict
over.
of what the state's done,
Yeah,
because then it's fangless.
But again, addressing the issue Vinnie brought up, Bethlehem, the proposal that was attached to our agenda was from Bethlehem. And it's almost exactly the same as the one Mike Ryback drafted for us. And I presume that's because he may also represent Bethlehem.
yes.
And so if Bethlehem has approved this, we don't want someone thinking, well, I'll just move my cultivation process to Morris because they don't have any.
My question is, what is that?
What do you mean?
What is a cultivation?
Growing,
Growing.
Well, I mean,
growing
like,
and processing?
is it in a
Is that it?
warehouse? Is it in a building? Is it like on the,
In a hothouse.
I think I saw something about that.
but this is where we need to again, define. That's not what this says. This says sale. This is
Sale.
attracting people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the sale.
Those are two different things.
A
Yeah. Well, that's why
dispensary.
we could-
Different thing.
But on the ballot, we could only put one question.
Why is it?
I don't know. I just know that that was legally the way it was
Oh, okay.
said that you can. All right.
So if we could,
We should have lined item both of them.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
I thought so too, but
Oh, all right. I wasn't at that meeting.
it was That was something that came back from the attorney. I believe, because it didn't have anything to do with my office. I know it was like,
Gotcha. Okay,
May I address the issue?
Go ahead, Benny.
When I first started to put that on the ballot, I wanted to put the 3 questions on there, and we referred that to our attorney Ryback, and he said that we could only put the 1 question on the ballot was the sale in town. Now, if you look at the stuff that Mike Ryback put together on the cultivations, he represented Bethlehem. And the biggest stipulation was that, and I believe, Ben, you and I had a little conversation on this, that it wasn't going to be our local farmer to put up these houses. It was going to be a big corporation coming in, constructing these and growing the marijuana. So the only benefit would be the farmer selling his land in town. And that's a big concern of mine, that we want to preserve our farmland.
Vinny, selling farmland is happening at a rate that's never happened before. So I hear you. I would like to first bring up the fact that Department of Ag would disagree with that statement since we spoke. And they're doing training to local farms on how to mostly on hemp, to just be to the point. My point is this: Bethlehem made a decision based on defining a problem. I'd like to believe. I don't know what they did, but let's say they followed a logical process. Let's also follow a logical process. Let's be thoughtful in what we regulate. Let's not regulate out of fear or regulate off of, I don't know, just whims. Let's actually use data. And if we believe that this document is perfectly in line with those things, I'm completely in support of it. But I hate the idea that we're just pasting things without thoughtful process. That's mind-blowing to me. I would never do something like that in my own business without, let's get the data, let's understand the problem, and then let's create a solution to it.
I think that's fair.
I think
I don't
I
think
have to
that's-
agree with that because
yeah.
it's always better to check all avenues.
If we cut paste everything in Bethlehem, let's just become Bethlehem. Let's just close down the town hall and just let them rule us.
I'm against that. I'd lose my job.
Bridget,
That's what but if
All
we do
right.
that, why are we any different?
Well, we're going to talk about it at the March meeting anyway, because none of us have had time to review
yeah.
what
Yes,
Tom
I-
sent us.
I mean, we
Completely.
haven't,
Yeah, we got this morning, so
Yeah.
Yep. At 7:15 or 7:14, I believe it was.
well, I don't function that well. in the morning.
I read it during this meeting.
And I just want to move things along because I have to be off at 10:40 for court.
Lori has her hand up again. Lori.
Yes, Lori.
2 questions. I missed the part about how many signatures for a referendum. Did you say 200?
I believe it's 200. That's what,
Okay.
it
And I
kind of, it goes on the numbers of what we have for voters in town.
Okay,
So,
thank you. And
I
I
don't
think
think
it's
it's changed
important
that
to
much.
remember that when people submit information or they paste and clip, it is an attempt to do the right thing. It doesn't necessarily mean that is what is wanted. And I think it's important to not condescend people and to educate people and to hear them as taxpayers of this town. Just because one person says it's true or not true doesn't mean it's true. And the condescending that goes on has to stop. It is sent with good intent and a hope that together things will be accomplished that is in fairness for all.
Thank you,
Lori,
Lori.
I don't think anyone in this commission has expressed those notions to you, but if that's the
No,
case,
I
we
think that you
apologize.
are condescending. And I think because you think you say things
I just,
and you take this position that people are attacking you, it's infuriating.
oh,
no
you
one's
just said you
attacking
bullied me
me
and attacked me, so
personally.
I'm just repeating what you just said to me.
Okay, no crosstalk. We're done.
you.
Can I just get some clarification here, Bridget?
Yes.
This post that I received, or that we received, that was attached to Lori's correspondence. Do you want me to post this?
It's part of the minutes, Maureen.
Okay,
If it's attached to the email that Lori sent, it needs to be made
Right.
part of the record.
okay. Very good.
Thank you. Is there any other, Lori, you still have your hand up? Are you finished?
Yes, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Is there any other public comment? Is there any other public comment? Is there any other public comment?
3 times.
Yep. If not, I think we can, with the motion, we can adjourn the meeting.
Motion, we adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
I.
Aye. Meeting adjourned at 10:21 a.m. Thank you, everybody.
Enjoy your day.
Guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Maureen, I did